Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Speedcast coverage of this year's National Autosport Association National Championships. It's going to be a fantastic race here at Mid-Ohio. H1 green, green, green. Landrum, your pole sitter, did not get a great start. Good run for Martinez. He's going to look to the inside of Jabrowski coming up. We have a new leader, Mark Bennett, and both against together. Evasive maneuvers, Rocco's your national champion, Bernardo Martinez. Bill Fryman, Carl Troy, Griswold, Joe Moser, Birch.
The National Autosport Association Spec E30 National Championship is brought to you by Point 6 Motorsports and Toyo Tires, with assistance from Ireland Engineering and BimmerParts.com.
Welcome to the 2008 NASA Championships from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Today we're featuring the Spec E30 race. Clark, what can you tell us about these cars?
So Spec E30 is a class for BMW 325i's that were made in the late 80s, early 90s. All the cars are virtually identical, so this is a driver's class. These guys can't adjust much. They just got to get out and drive them. Real exciting racing, real fun class to watch.
Well, let's take a look at what happened during last year's race. Chris Cabetto started on pole alongside Jonathan Allen. The two battled side by side through turn one, with Cabetto eventually taking the top spot. As Cabetto built his lead, Simon Hunter put on a great show, working his way forward after starting 15th. Hunter took advantage of a spinning car to move from 8th to 5th and eventually got around Michael Davidson for 4th. At the checkers, it was Cabetto by 4 seconds over Allen and Michael Skeen. Hunter finished 4th.
All right, so we're getting ready to take the green. We'll take a look at the grid. Chris Cabetto will start on pole. Michael Skeen starts outside. Michael Davidson will start 3rd. Carlton Goldthwait 4th. And Carter Hunt will start 5th.
Simon Hunter starts from the 6th position. Jonathan Allen will be 7th. In the 8th spot, Jeremy Lucas is the driver. Starting 9th is Stephen Deviney, and in 10th place starting is David Harrington.
And as we've mentioned with a number of other classes we've covered, the Spec E30 cars will be starting and running at the same time as a number of other classes. We actually have Performance Touring D, E, and F, I believe, on the track at the same time. So we do expect these cars to be encountering some of the slower Performance Touring cars as they make their way through the field, and that probably is going to come into play as this race progresses.
I looked at the grid, and it looks like there's about 59 cars on the track during the start of this race. So we come down, the pace car is off, and the drivers will come around the kink and take the green flag. Green flag is out. We're underway.
Ooh, 5 wide. We see a car off on the outside already as they make their way into
Joe Woodward
4.
off there in the grass. Man, they're just all bunched up as they come through turns 4 and 5 down there towards the S's. And Woodward off again, as well as I believe that's the 29 car of Davidson off the track.
Yeah, Davidson, looks like Davidson got sideways. Goldthwait got sideways. He got off a little bit. Looks like he'll drop back quite a bit. And the big winner is Carter Hunt is going to slip into 3rd all the way from 5th on the grid.
Chris Cabetto coming around turn 6 there. Did you see that? Looked like he was slinging fuel out the side of that car as he made the turn.
Yeah, I noticed that on the warm-up a little bit, too. It does look like that car is dumping some kind of fluid. Hopefully it's just a case where they may have overfilled the tank a little bit, and after the first couple of laps it'll burn off and it'll be okay.
Mike Skeens dropped into 2nd. Those two put a little bit of a gap on Carter Hunt in that yellow number 58 car.
And we see Carter Hunt coming under fire from Michael Davidson, who started 3rd. Obviously wants to get that spot back from Hunt. See the field all bunched up as they go into turn 1. Really good racing among these E30 cars. As we mentioned, they're a spec class. All the cars are pretty much exactly the same, and you see really great racing all the way through this field.
No modifications to the engine whatsoever, so they've got to be close. Tuning is a big advantage here. The better you can get it tuned, the better it's going to run. Down the back straight once again, it's Cabetto with the lead in the number 1 car. Last year's winner of this event.
Yeah, absolutely. Won last year going away, as we saw in our highlights. And we'll see if Cabetto can hang on for another win, although I'm still seeing that fuel come out, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And you can see they've already caught up with some of the slower lap traffic that we talked about earlier. Skeen right there, trying to find an advantage.
And he must be, whatever fluid he's laying down there, that must affect the car behind him. If it's gasoline, it's got to slicken the track for at least a moment.
Sure, I mean, it's certainly better than dumping antifreeze or oil or something like that. But, yeah, obviously, and whatever it is, too, is getting all over the windshield of Skeen's car. So you got to be wondering, if I'm Skeen, I've got to be wondering, when is this guy going to get the black flag if this continues on?
And there you see from Skeen's car how much it's being affected as it fogs his windshield when it hits it.
Yeah, and it does look like it's right rear, just behind the right rear wheel. So that is where the filler cap is. And the fact that, we see on our camera here that it burns off pretty quickly leads me to believe it probably is fuel. Yeah, you can see it every time they go through a right-hander. It dumps quite a lot of fuel out.
Well, I don't know how much fuel these guys carry on board, but, after a while, you're going to wonder, is he going to get black flag first or run out of fuel first?
Right, exactly. And you wonder if it's just a loose fuel cap or potentially, filler neck is loose or something like that. But it obviously isn't affecting Cabetto at all, as he's turning fast laps and working his way through traffic pretty effectively.
Once again, the car's making their way through some of the other classes. I think that was a Neon he was going by there, and you see some of the other class cars.
Yeah, kind of an alphabet soup in performance touring. So you have Neons, there are a bunch of Miatas that they're passing, things like that, Nissan Sentras. So quite a variety of race cars that these Spec E30s have to make their way around. And the reason it works out this way is that you can see Carter Hunt kind of getting together with that green Neon in front of him. The reason it works out that way is that, if the pole sitter in a particular class is faster than the pole sitter in Spec E30, then they're going to move that whole class ahead of Spec E30 on the start, regardless of how quick, the guys behind that pole sitter may be. So, and obviously, as we said, this many cars on the track, you're bound to run into traffic wherever you are, and it's just part of racing in a club race like the NASA Championship. So it's part of the skill set that these drivers have to develop. Is you got to be able to work your way through traffic.
Cabetto, once again, your leader. Him and Mike Skeen have put a little bit of distance between themselves, Carter Hunt and Mike Davidson.
And Davidson's still working on Hunt, but hasn't been able to get by. This is a good run for Hunt. Typically runs in the sort of the Southeast Division, and runs 4th, 5th usually. But for him to be up in the top 3 right now, that's an excellent run for him. And you can see, Davidson's working on him, but hasn't been able to really even make a strong challenge for the pass there.
Jonathan Hunt and David Harrington, the next 2 cars back in line. That would be 4th and 5th place, I believe.
Yep, that's right. Harrington running just behind the black and red car that we see, Jonathan Allen.
And now Simon Hunter getting in the race, the 116 car beginning to challenge. He was the driver from last year that started way back in the field, started 15th and ended up 4th a year ago.
Yeah, Hunter, Hunter's, we've talked about this with some other races, that some of these guys just aren't as comfortable or as quick in the rain. And Hunter was one of those guys that was very, very quick in the dry, but encountered a lot of rain during the qualifying races and kind of struggled. So it'd be interesting to see how far he can work his way up through the field as the race goes on. We can still see that lot of fuel coming out of Cabetto's car. I don't think that's letting up at all.
It sure doesn't seem like it, and Mike Skeen, I just have to wonder what he's thinking. He's got to be waiting for a black flag. It's like, get this guy off of here,
Yeah, in fact, I think I just saw a black flag as we passed the starter stand. It does look like they are displaying the black flag for Cabetto, so we'll see. how soon he's going to have to bring that vehicle in. At
now
least
the question
check.
is, how soon will he heed the flag and take it off the course?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you kind of accidentally on purpose ignore things like that. But hopefully Cabetto will honor that black flag and come in soon.
Really getting bunched up behind him back there in third, fourth, and fifth place.
Yeah, that's David Harrington in that white car making a challenge for, I believe that's fifth place. Looks like Harrington's going to tuck back in. Good racing back. The second pack, they're having a great battle back there. Good to see.
I think it's now Simon Hunter has moved to the fifth position, I believe it is. No, that's Davidson there, and then Deviney, and then Simon Hunter.
Yeah, Davidson actually dropped back a bit, and that's allowed Carter Hunt to kind of break away, and he's catching up with the leaders now. So Carter Hunt, see him working his way through turn 9 into Thunder Valley. Fun part of the track. Cars kind of hang out as they come into Thunder Valley. Now, I was talking to Carter Hunt earlier, and he had mentioned that sometimes he just hasn't pushed quite as hard throughout this season. Has been a little bit frustrated with his performance. He said, I came to the NASA Championships, and I figured it's the last race of the year for me, or at least the last sort of big race, and I'm just going to hang it out and see what happens. And obviously performing really well, catching up with the leaders right now.
Now, is he affected by that fuel spill from the leader as far back as he is? Or is the track evaporated by then or not affected that far back, Clark?
I wouldn't think so, but we've seen, as these guys are coming out of turn 1, we've seen more than one of them drop a wheel off. And so it may be, it looks like Cabetto dumps the most fuel in left-handers, and it may be that is affecting these cars. Typically fuel burns off pretty quick just because it evaporates off the racing surface, but it doesn't take very long for that car, even 3, 4, 5 car lengths back, to reach that area where there may be fluid on the track. So we'll have to see as the race goes on, but certainly it does look like these guys are affected to a certain amount.
Now, looking at things from Chris Cabetto's point of view, once again encountering some of those other class cars.
Yeah, and it looks like, things have spread out a little bit. They don't have this big,
Oh, we got a problem out there now. That's right under the bridge after turn 6 on the race course.
Yeah, it looks like one of the other E30 competitors got into the wall pretty hard there, and you could actually see the tire barrier was kind of standing up on end. We'll wait to see who that competitor is. That may bring out a full course caution here, though.
I think that was the 121 car of Stephen Kapachanski.
So Kapachanski looks like he may be done for the race. We'll see when we come back around again whether that vehicle is still there.
It looked like it, with that tire barrier bounced out there, that they didn't have much room to get by him. It's kind of a narrow opening there. They may have to throw a full course here to get that cleaned up. We'll have to see if the local people are able to do anything with that or not.
So we don't see a local yellow, or we don't see a full course yellow yet. Now on board with Carter Hunt as they work their way through some more traffic.
So even though those guys have seen that incident over on the other side, they're still racing hard. They're still racing for position here.
Yeah, and you could see Carter Hunt. There was a RX-7 ahead of him, and that vehicle kind of moved over in front of him, and Carter just kept his foot in it and drove right through the grass. This is a good move. So Carter charging hard, trying to catch up with Skeen.
And I think he's making up a little time on Skeen. It looks like he's pulling up on him a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Carter might have something for Skeen before the end of this race. And you can see now when you look ahead that they do have a safety truck out. And that truck will go around and attempt to remove the damaged car from the racetrack. And you can see the cautions out. So we do have a local yellow in this area, but they have not thrown the full course yellow yet. So as soon as these guys pass this area where the car is disabled, they get to go back to racing. So right now they're back in a green zone, so to speak, and they can start to attempt to pass again.
Boy, that car is in one precarious position there, sideways on the racetrack, right as they come through the corner.
Yeah, that really benefited Hunt because these other two guys had to slow up a little bit. Because they can't pass that slower Miata ahead, and so Hunt was able to close up on them while they were sort of waiting to get by. Now we got a side-by-side. We got a challenge for the lead out of Skeen.
Once again, the slower car there playing a part.
And they're going to go side-by-side down the front straightaway, but it looks like Skeen had to check up a little bit.
Still no full course.
The full course has just come out. So we have gone to full course. You can see the safety car just starting to roll. So that's probably why I think Skeen had a pretty good run there. It looked like he might be able to challenge going into one, but probably saw the full course and opted to back off a bit. So now we'll go to an interview with Chris Cabetto, last year's champion. Kind of talk to him about the Spec E30 class and sort of his thoughts on why it's such a great class.
Well, the great thing about the Spec E30 series, NASA and Carter Hunt, its leader, did a great job of making sure there really aren't a whole lot of adjustments to this. It's a class that you can really come into, and you don't have to do a lot of stuff. Basically, it's just replacing some of the parts, the original BMW stuff. The BMWs are just such good machines right out of the box that it doesn't take a whole lot of tweaking to make them faster. But, the guys at Delta V Motorsports did a great job of preparing the car. Hawk brakes are, no question about it, the best, and they really do help you to stop. And, of course, got a lot of help from Bimmer parts. And, these guys, it's just everybody sort of working together is really the best thing. I think I do a paint job, though. Well, the competition over the past 3 years has just gotten incredibly, it's gone up threefold ever since the very beginning. This year, definitely, you always have to watch Johnny Allen. Michael Skeen, they call him the machine because the guy's like a robot. It's amazing. He is just so consistent and so good. And just, Carter Hunt is always in back there. Mike Davidson, all these guys, really anybody that's in Spec E30 in that, top 10 really has a shot at the win. So I'm concerned with everybody.
All right, so back to racing, on board with Chris Cabetto again. Now, we did mention that he had received the black flag, and we're receiving word now that we think he's going to be coming into the pits this lap. So we'll see if he opts to pull off. Looks like he will. So he'll make his way onto pit road, and there's a penalty box sort of on pit road opposite the flag stand. So he'll pull in there, and there'll be a NASA official there to sort of advise him on what he's going to do from here on out.
So he doesn't know what the situation is at this point.
That's right, yeah, and you can see the official now. He's checking the fuel cap, trying to see maybe if that was left loose, if that's the reason there's fuel dumping. But, regardless now, Cabetto's lost his position on the racetrack. They won't allow him to rejoin. If he does at all, they won't allow him to rejoin at the head of the field. So this effectively ends his national championship bid. At the very least, we'll see if they send him back behind the wall.
And that should put Mike Skeen out in front in the number 143 car, if that's the case. And Cabetto back underway. Let's see what happens. No,
yeah.
It's going behind the wall. They've decided that must be something more than just the gas cap.
That's unfortunate for Cabetto. I mean, obviously a really good run, really strong run last year, fast all week. Started on pole, and then, unfortunately just something minor looks like that caused fuel to leak, and that ends his national championship bid. So getting ready to go to green. We will go green on the back straightaway this lap, and we are underway.
Well, let me just mention this speedcast of the Spec E30 National Championship is brought to you by 0.6 Motorsports and Toyo Tires, along with some assistance from Ireland Engineering and BimmerParts.com.
Yeah, 0.6 Engineering is they manufacture camber plates for these Spec E30 cars, and they also do some rental cars as well as some prep shop work for various Spec E30 competitors. Michael
Skeen, now your leader.
And this is interesting, when we went under caution, it sort of bunched up the field. And so you can see that whole mess of cars in front of Skeen, and they are all cars that he's going to have to pass. And Hunt isn't letting him get away. Hunt is right there.
And they don't separate them by class at this point. The whole field is bunched up, so it's really a hodgepodge out there now.
Yeah, and you could see Skeen sort of drop back a bit just to give himself a little bit of room on the restart, probably a wise move. And it looks like a bunch of the E30s are still together, but they will have to work for these slower cars as they make their way through the last few laps. So Hunt in second, Allen third, Davidson fourth, and Hunter up to fifth. now on board with Carter Hunt. Whole mess of cars in front of him as we see Michael Skeen working his way around a Miata.
This really changes your whole strategy, I would think, as far as what you're doing. There's so many other competitors out there that you have to deal with besides your own class that, you really got to be up on the wheel and paying attention.
Absolutely, and now's the time. Just a few laps left. It is go time. You have to take risks in traffic. You have to sort of force moves to happen. That's the only way you're going to get anything done at this point. So you can see all these guys being very aggressive, trying to work their way through traffic, trying to make things, force the issue if they have to, working around the outside, inside, wherever they can go, because they know that there are faster cars right there ready to pounce.
And the degree of difficulty for passing goes way up. You've got so many other cars to deal with. You can't really look for one place on the racetrack, because when you get to that one place, you might be jammed up with other cars. So you're probably going to take a chance other places that you normally wouldn't.
Sure, and you can see there where Hunt was able to nip to the inside of one of those Miatas as they headed into turn 9. Not an easy place to pass. Now we can see that Skeen's caught up with, I think that's a Celica, just ahead of him. And one of the other challenges with running with different kinds of cars is the different kinds of cars are fast in different places. So you may encounter a guy that has more straightaway speed, but isn't quite as quick in the corners, and you got to figure out a way around him. So Skeen making his way down. 3 laps to go now as he enters turn 1. And there's quite a bit of action just behind him. As we can see, it looks like Hunter has made his way all the way up into 4th at this point. Yeah, that's Hunter in 4th, just behind Hunt. As Allen and...
Actually, Skeen's out in front, and Hunt runs 2nd. And Hunter has moved to 3rd.
So 3rd now. So Hunter all the way up to 3rd, trying to catch Carter Hunt now. Comes from way back, and he's challenging for 2nd. Hunt now closing down on Skeen as they head into 4. Just a few laps left. You can see Skeen really sliding that car, working everything out of it, trying to stay ahead of Hunt.
And once again, you're probably spending as much time in your rear view as you are out in front with all these cars on the racetrack.
Sure, I'm sure that Hunt knows that Hunter is coming by now. Hunter very quick, as we said in the dry, one of the fastest cars in the racetrack in the dry. We knew he would be a factor. It's just, does he have enough time?
Yeah, he's shown that he can come from the back. He did last year. And once again this year, because of the rain, didn't start as well, but has moved up to challenge.
Again, Hunter is coming as they enter the keyhole. He's right there behind Hunt. And it's interesting. He might be able to get around Hunt. He might be able to challenge for this win.
Certainly in a position to be on the podium, but he would like to be on that top step at the end of the race today.
So 2 laps to go now. 2 laps to go, and there's, a few cars sort of bunched up. Ooh, and we have a car going off.
Oh, and a car turned backwards there off the racetrack.
I believe that was David Harrington that spun in turn 1. So Harrington, kind of an unfortunate end to a good run today.
And there's Hunter right alongside Hunt as they come off of turn 2, headed towards the back straight.
See if he can kind of do an inside-out move. I don't think he quite had enough of the drive off of the keyhole, but he's showing muscle now. You can see how quick he is out of turn 1. He's able to get alongside Carter Hunt going into 2. We'll watch now and see if he ducks to the inside going into 4. Brake smoke ahead.
They're locking him up out in front. Through the S's, Carter Hunt with the advantage still.
So Hunt will hold on for another lap as they make their way through the S's. Unlikely that he'll get passed through here.
And Michael Skeen's thinking, sure, I'm glad this other car is between me and Carter Hunt.
Sure, Skeen able to put, that's what we talked about, Skeen able to force the issue and put a car in between himself and Hunt, and that may make the difference. You know Hunter's coming, you know that it's tight, just a little bit of time left to get it done, and Skeen now has, good 5-6 car lengths advantage over these guys.
And of course, with Hunt and Hunter racing each other, that gives Skeen a little bit of a break, with nobody to race him at this point.
Yep, so when we cross the stripe this time, it'll be 1 to go, white flag out. Skiing's going to have some more lap traffic to deal with coming up, a neon Spec Miata. But this is the race. This is the race for second.
White flag is out, last lap.
Hunter pokes a nose inside, not enough there.
This is the best racing we've seen all day.
And this is really, there's only 2 passing zones left on this racetrack. There's one going to the keyhole as we're coming up right here. Hunter ducks to the outside of that Miata, trying to get it done before the keyhole.
Man, Hunter is right on his tail, pushing him hard.
And Hunt not able to get by that Miata, checks up a bit, slides wide, and that may make the difference. We'll look to the inside.
Which way is he going to go? Which way's the Miata going to go? Looks like he stays to the left, and that's going to give Simon Hunter the advantage.
So Hunter able to nip to the inside. Bummer for Carter Hunt. Just tried to make it happen around the outside of the Miata. Didn't work out, and he drops back to third now.
We see cars off the racetrack. Still, man, these cars are all over the place. And Carter Hunt, it wasn't that the car in front of him really did anything wrong. It was just a choice, and a 50-50 choice that maybe Carter Hunt went the wrong way.
So now that's going to allow Hunter right on top of Skeen, half a lap to go.
And just looked like he was going to try the inside there, but not yet.
Yeah, not able to get it done there. There might be opportunity for one more pass going to the carousel, but it's going to be tough.
Running out of laps here. Running out of lap here on the final lap.
Just a couple more corners to go for Skeen. Skeen finished third last year, wants this win this year. Through the final corner, and Skeen will hold on for the victory. Hunter second, Carter Hunt third. Fantastic race.
Jonathan Allen will get fourth. Mike Davidson will get fifth.
So great racing, Kevin. It was good to see the Spec E30s and just how close the racing really is. I want to go out and buy one of these things.
Yeah, really. You know, it's a cheap way to get involved in racing, and looks like a lot of fun. Well, that's going to do it for this race. This speedcast of the Spec E30 National Championship has been brought to you by .6 Motorsports and Toyo Tires, along with some assistance from Ireland Engineering and VimmerParts.com. Thanks for joining us. Come on back for our next race, the GTS.